Hey everyone. Recently, Dannard got a hold of me on Discord. I am available via email, Discord, Facebook, you name it. Um, and he wrote to me saying that he was a new player. He's been following the channel, and he wants to try to go to some events over this summer, which is really cool. And I think you should. I will say this, most new players, once they start going to events, they get their asses kicked. Hopefully not by a whacker dick who like makes them feel bad about it, but it's quite normal. It's quite normal to lose at your first tournaments. Why? Because you're not that good yet. It takes practice. It takes a while before you actually start winning tournaments. And once in a while, you get that one guy who is just wins his first tournament. That happens, but for most people, it doesn't. So I'll say this, Dannard. Go, have your ass kicked, but take the losses as a learning process. That is the best thing to do once you're starting out playing bold action. Don't be discouraged by it. Just go. If you win any games at all, that's a win. Um, when I started out playing competitively, I started out playing 40k, and then I switched over to X-wing, and my first many tournaments, I was like, okay, I need one victory. That was my goal for the first tournament. Then I need 50% of that to be victories. So right, that's the mentality I think you should approach a game with. So let's go and check out what Dennard is planning and see if I can give him any advice on what to do. I'll just have, there we have it. Right, so his list is an image here, so sorry about that huge blob. Right, it's an Italian reinforced platoon. Now, the first thing I need to say about that is Italy is not very good competitively. We are not seeing any tournaments won by Italian lists at all. And I know that on this channel I talk a lot about lists. That's actually not the most important thing. The most important thing is the player skill, but good players will typically avoid choosing Italy because their national special rules are not very good. Um, so that is a whole issue that you're going to have to deal with. However, if you enjoy the Italian army, if you enjoy painting that, play it. It will make you better. So just don't expect it to do anything especially good for you. The list won't help you much. 1,000 points, that is where most of us start, and Reinforced Platoon is always a good start. You can always go to events that have different restrictions on platoons. As long as you know how to build a 1,000 point Reinforced Platoon, you can always change it up a bit. 14 Order Dice is very good. It's right where I would want to be at 1,000 points. Um, so I really like that. We have an inexperienced lieutenant with an extra man. That's always good. You might even consider making it 2 extra men, just because a 3-man team is less vulnerable to preparatory bombardment that actually might kill this lieutenant and make his helper run away. So that's just one thing to consider. It's not necessary, but it's a little trick you can do. Then we have regular infantry. We have 8-man sections, 2 of those. I would cut these down, and I would cut out the submachine guns. Regular infantry are mostly suited as backline holders or as skirmishers, and as such, I think 7 or 6-man units might be better. That would make them a little cheaper, would save you some points that you could use on something else, and what they really need is their rifles, and they need to be able to hit every turn that they shoot, or at least force someone to go down. And 7 rifles or 6 rifles will do that. You don't need 7 rifles and a submachine gun. That won't actually help you very much. So, and the reason why I'm saying 6 or 7 is 6 is the lowest I would go for a skirmish unit. 7 might be better because with 7 men you're going to need to lose 4 before you take an order test to run away. So you're losing more than half your unit. It's a little trick of math here. You're losing more than half your unit before you take the test to run away. Uh, might be worth it. Late war Paras. Um, these, I think you need to check that they are available at your event. I can't remember if they are just generic reinforced platoon allowed. I think they are, but I'm not sure. But they are very, very good. They're stubborn. They've got you can give them loads of submachine gun, which Dannard does here. 5 submachine guns, 3 rifles, 3 Panzerfausts as well on the rifles, of course. Just because that will make enemy snipers their life will be much harder, because who do you choose to kill? This is really a good anti-tank unit. It's a good anti-infantry unit. It can fight in close combat if you need to. You don't want to, but you can. And it's a very good push unit, but it's very, very, very expensive. It's even more expensive than when I run Gurkhas in for the Brits. Um, so you are going to have to save points somewhere else. But yes, late war Paras, really good. Um, right. Here we have a cavalry section. Cavalry is pretty good in bolt action. This is set up to be a last turn contester unit. You don't need them to be veteran. If you can take them regular, do that. That will save you some points as well. Simply because a 5-man unit, you're not set up to be a charging unit. Small teams maximum, right? And the veterans will not actually do that charge better than the regulars. It's still just 5 dice you're throwing at the enemy. So I would set them up with regulars and then just hang around some line of sight blocking cover where you can sort of move back behind that, maybe give a few pins out, shoot a little bit, and then maybe charge a small team or jump onto an objective. That works really well. And another regular section, cut that down and remove the submachine gun. That's what I would do. Inexperienced medium mortar, we're seeing this everywhere, aren't we? The WTC was full of inexperienced mortars everywhere. So yeah, that seems to be really good right now. Be aware though that you're Italian and you can't afford to lose many of your units. So this is a vulnerable unit. Sniper team, good. Flamethrower team, yes, definitely. Light arty, yes, very good. Always useful to have a howitzer with a spotter and everything. The Lancia has twin MMGs, so 10 shots. It is a little bit expensive, but it is 7 plus and close topped. So yeah, yeah, that works. It's an anti-infantry vehicle here. And the M15. The M15 really is a good darker tank. It's priced right. It's got the machine guns, 20 shots. It's maybe even better than the Darker Stewart in some respects. Really nice. Truck and a Fiat for the flamethrower. The truck, that would be for the Paras here. I think the only thing that I would change is I would cut down on the infantry, on the extra gear for those. I would cut this cavalry down to regular if you could, and then see if you could upgrade one of your infantry sections to an engineer unit. They could go with the Paras in the truck, maybe. Right, you have 1, 2, 3. You have 8-man. Oh, you can't. Might even cut one of the Paras down. Have a 5-man unit of engineers with a flamethrower. That would be way more useful and very threatening to the enemy. Right, that would be my suggestions for this list. How to play it? Yeah, it has a lot of different weapons. It's a classical mixed bag platoon where you have some HE, you have some direct fire, you have some anti-infantry stuff, you have some anti-tank stuff. So it has all the tools here, which means that you're going to have to be very clever about what you choose to do and when you choose to do it. So It's a good practice list as well. It's a list where you get to test out a lot of different stuff. So if you can take the beatings, then this will be good for you, I think. Right. That's it. Cheers.